software out there. And for us, just as sports fans, as CrossFit fans, started to build up that central site of just collecting past data and past events. So you could go into your favorite athlete, like Adler or Laura Horvath or whoever, and just have that single spot where you could see their past history. You could click into the different leaderboards and all to see the different stats with the athletes that are competing. And we're slowly building that up. And then as seasons shifted and sanctionals went wayside and moved over to semifinals, just season is just kind of naturally constricted. And we found that more people are just really interested about the stats and sharing the athlete stories. So we started this year, we shifted more of our energy to that just because there's lots of smaller competitions going on, especially this time of year, and a lot of interesting stories that you can tell with having stats to it. Moved into brand long analytics at the start of this year and really just kind of mostly been putting all our energy in there just to collect some stats and bring some more data to the sport.
Bringing data nerds together, right, John?
Yes. Oh, it's the best. Nothing better than a good percentage, I always say.
Same.
At least 50% of the time. So,
yep, for sure. For sure. All right, cool, Dave. So let's talk a little bit about the men's leaderboard and how you think things could shake out at the Rogue Invitational for the guys.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting competition. We have, everybody from the top 10 at the games joining us again at Rogues to have the best in there. And then you throw in a Ricky Garrard who won the Q. So have him come back after unfortunately missing him for semifinals in the games. I think definitely the top of the leaderboard could be really up in the air to see who wins and who's on the podium finished. It will be exciting to watch for sure there. In terms of who's in contention for that top spot, I would say there's likely 4 favorites to take it all. A few wild cards in there. First up, you got Jeffrey Adler, the fittest man on earth, has really put together a Matt Fraser-esque season when you look at it. Won the CrossFit Open. He was second in worldwide quarterfinals, or North America quarterfinals, 5th worldwide quarterfinals, won North America East semifinal, which was also good for first in the worldwide semifinal leaderboard, and won the CrossFit Games. For him to put together a season like that as somebody who is really at the peak of their game, it will be a tough challenge to beat him, but definitely guys who have that capability.
Oh, sorry. I was going to just chime in and be like, that's so true. All of that is so true. And yet, for some reason, in my heart, I can't picture him on the podium, given the guys that are there who are going to give him a run for his money, who we couldn't fully see at the CrossFit Games. And I bet that's what you're going to say next, so I'll just let you keep going.
Yes. Yeah, so then you got a couple guys who are probably super hungry to prove themselves. I talked about Ricky. He won the Q to get in there after missing semifinals in the games. What was his mountain bike accident? He was his 3rd at the games last year. Has the ability to beat all these guys, put himself on the podium. He also won Wadapalooza in January, which had Roman Krenikov and Pat Vellner on the podium there. Showed he is able to beat all these guys in a competition, and then is coming in incredibly hungry from the sounds of things, and didn't have that CrossFit Games competition in there, so he didn't potentially have that kind of lull that the other athletes have from a training perspective in August. Probably has been able to focus his attention on training and is likely peaking coming in. So likely going to have a similar road to Chandler Smith last year, who last year Chandler Smith won the Q after missing the games and came in and finished second on the podium. Ricky Garrard could be making a carbon copy of that this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point for sure.
And then the other athlete that'll be interesting to watch, has some unfinished business. Roman Krenikov, obviously, disappointing finish to the CrossFit Games for him. But the injury he had, he also had a second at Wodapalooza this year, and he's coming off a second at the Games last year. It's interesting to see how he does turn out or is able to compete at the Rogue Invitational. I do have some hesitation with him just because 6 weeks ago he was in a walking boot. I don't know how much a walking boot is really going to impact his training over that time period or how much that foot has limited to him. Some question marks there, but again, he seems to be doing all right from a training perspective.
You say 6 weeks ago, like the Games feels like it was a million years ago, but it really was very recent, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, that was my question too, was 6 weeks enough time to heal? I mean, usually 90 days is the window for most minor injuries, and I'm not sure I would call that a minor injury necessarily, but I also, I'm going to take both sides of this coin too, is I would never bet against Roman. I mean, he got off to such a fast start at the Games. It was so dominating up until the injury. So you have to believe even a 80% Roman Krenikov is better than most.
Yeah, 100%. And in my heart of hearts, I have Roman standing atop the podium because I feel like it's the finish that I want to see just based off of the way that the Games all went down, right? Like, he's coming back from injury, he's got the Cinderella story, he's going to take the crown, whatever. But when you really break down performance, and Dave, you could probably lend a little bit more light on this, Roman's not the strongest guy out there. He sort of looks like he could be, but he's not. And Jeff consistently has proven to be one of the more consistent, strong athletes. So given the type of programming that we see at Rogue, which is a lot of times heavier, a lot of times odder or strongman inspired, whatever, I don't know if Roman has the edge he needs to sneak